That's the key, right? Out of all of this, that's the point, and it feels like everybody's missing the point. Whatever you want to do,
just do it.
However you want to identify, you want to be a purple dragon, you can do that. Like, really, like that. Why would I care? It doesn't affect my life.
Right.
Like, you being a male or a female or not in either of those two camps, that doesn't affect me. My problem is when it comes to the forced compliance of, okay, but if you don't acknowledge me as a woman or as a male, I'm gonna come for you.
Yeah.
Then you're a piece of shit.
You're the douchebag. You're the douche.
That's the problem. That's when it gets really uncomfortable.
I hope I never have to cross that. I've never had to cross that opportunity. So
I mean, I haven't.
Because I feel like I'm pretty uneducated about that. So
that's how I am.
Give me the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, watching his podcast is a lot of the like talking for from the guests he's had on that's actually feel these like this way or like what changes they're going through this or that. It's like taking in a lot of the information because I mean there's plenty of times with like the Felicity one. It's like I was like listening in my kitchen making dinner and then I was just talking to myself and I'm like no way like just like I'm like right there in the room with you guys.
Full on conversation.
He's like, excuse you.
There's just stuff like that.
I've definitely done that. Yeah.
No, yeah. We're like Sabrina's on the couch. She's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry. I'm just really into the podcast."
I'm in my conversation right now. I want to say it's weird, but it's not weird in a bad way. It's just weird. It's different.
It's weird that I just don't know anything about it. Exactly.
Which is fine. You don't have to know about everyone's stuff that they're dealing with, right? Everyone's got their own thing.
Right.
It's just the forced compliance. And the weirdest one for me, and I kind of talked to Skylin a little bit about it, is the whole transgender thing and dating straight people. It's like if you don't find someone who's transgender attractive, you're transphobic.
No.
And Skylin doesn't feel that way. She has some different... I don't want to put words in her mouth. She kind of spread how she feels in that podcast. But I've heard the sentiment where if you don't find... So like if a trans woman comes up to you and you don't know that she's trans and you guys are hitting it off, having a good time, and then she tells you and then that changes something for you and it's no longer sexual or the nature's different because of that, you're transphobic. Which, what?
No.
Come on.
No.
Like, I get where they're coming from. I don't agree with it, but I get where they're coming from.
Oh, I totally get.
But
I
it's
get
just
like,
but I feel like a part, like the biggest thing is like, like if you walk up to someone like, for us, it'd be like a girl in the bar. And it's like, you're hitting it off, having drinks, whatever. You decide to go back to whoever, like wherever you're going to go and you want to, do the deed, whatever. And then all of a sudden she's got the same thing I do. I'm going to have a problem with it.
I'm going to have a little problem
like,
that you didn't,
not get violent or ahead, but it's going to be a little, it's going to be a little interesting.
Yeah. And Felicity brought that up. She's like, allegedly with, black trans women. I guess that's a big problem is like they get beat up.
There's a lot of violence.
People get violent when they find out and they get upset that's not okay. But like,
I mean, I would appreciate a heads up.
Yeah, it's 100% understandable someone being upset because I feel like that's misleading.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they have to, just right then and there. Like, I don't know. It's weird because I would be upset and I sure as hell wouldn't go through with it. And I guess in that moment, if they wanted to call me transphobic, whatever, as I'm walking out the door and be like, bye.
I just don't want to have sex with that. That's all. I just don't want to have sex with that.
Well, because it changes. It's just like, when you first see someone at the bar, it's like, it's a, it's a visual sexual like attraction. Yeah. And then when you talk to somebody and get to know them more, then it can, it evolve. But I mean, when you've known them for, chances are a couple hours from a bar, it's like, you're not going to really care about like, you're not going to really be worried about what's on the inside. You're still worried about what's on the outside and like wanting to have a little bit of time with it. And then it happens and, and they're just like, oh, hey, like, I classify myself as a woman, but I still have a penis or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, that's not for me. Like somebody else, to hope like the best of luck, but like not for me.
It's just a major throw off, man.
Like, well, the parts they do matter.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Whether that's unfortunate or not, like that plays a role. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you could make arguments both ways, but today in our current world, that matters. Like if you don't want to fuck somebody with a penis.
I mean, I don't know the feelings that they go through on a daily basis, but like, I feel like I would want to notify the person ahead of time.
Yeah.
Just to see if they're even open to the idea, because that's a big change.
Yeah, and that's what Skylin said. She said she always opens with that, like, "Hey,
yeah,
this is what's going on,"
and that's good. And honestly, probably brave of her because, like,
and it's safer.
Like, yeah. I mean, because chances are at that point, by the way, when you tell somebody, especially if it's right off the bat, and if you're at a bar, you're in a public place, they're not gonna hopefully not get as mad or as violent or whatever it is. Whereas like Felicity mentioned this, she's just like, if you go back to someone's place or where you're just alone, it's like the chance of violence, it increases, a significant amount. So hopefully, like in public places like that, I would kind of keep that to a minimal, that kind of altercation. But
yeah, because it does suck at the fact that I would have to tell you like something super personal and super deep about me, and you could just tell me your first name,
And could you imagine having to tell that to every person
you're
trying to date?
Yeah.
Everyone. Hey, by the way, I look this way, I identify this way, but I also have this.
I mean, I can only imagine like how that
would
feels.
suck.
That would suck.
That would
suck a lot.
Couldn't imagine like having to do that or having to tell people that, because like you said,
That's
you're
super
sharing something
deep,
personal with them, and then they're just like, oh yeah, well, yeah, here's my name, or like,
by the
what line
way,
of work you in, or something like that.
You're gonna see
identify as a
something
woman
down
that
there.
had a penis. Okay, my name is Jonathan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, where do you go from there?